Right, guys. So I'm back, and I'm not at all concerned about what happened there, because okay. So I'm not too concerned about what happened there, because I'm running off two different networks, and it was simply a case of my cellular signal did not carry the YouTube feed. If the YouTube feed was running on the main connection as the TikTok feed is, then problem would not have occurred in the first place. It was very clear that that device just lost signal completely. So for those of you that want to, I did start the second live. I did restart the live stream on TikTok on YouTube again. Um, so yeah. Okay, right. So let's get back to. I want to address that thing Steve asked. Um, so yeah, I just think the benefits um, of YouTube far outweighs the fact that people can watch that we can set it so that members can watch a safari after it happened. Um, so which means that everybody gets value for their money because they can go back and catch up on the week's safaris if they so choose, and we can still promote the channel with small clips, shorter videos out of the. Hey Sally, how you doing, Sally? So yeah, I've got Sally on YouTube. Sally's been supporting this project from the word go. She's an avid camera watcher. The Africams and the live cams on at the watering holes and things like that. Um, so yeah, Sally, things are moving along. I just want to give her a quick update. So we are on a reserve now, and hopefully the live safaris will be going ahead shortly. Sally has been with us from the start with this whole episode that we yeah, Sally, it's going to be fantastic. So at the moment we are working very hard. Just keep in mind, if I'm not always looking at the camera, I'm streaming on TikTok and on YouTube at the moment, so I'm trying to give my attention everywhere. Jurgen Stron, no politics on this platform. Um, so yeah, as the thing for Sally that must be really entertaining for her. She's seen this project go from Spirit of Madikwe to Spirit of Diklo, from wanting to start the lodge to doing live safaris, from but always having education in mind. So she's been following that whole ups and downs. Um, Kyle, yes, we are currently streaming on YouTube as well. Tornay Fritz, we are on a Big Five reserve. So we have most of the animals. The only animals that we do not have here is wild dog, cheetah because it's not their habitat, hippos because we don't have permanent stagnant water. Um, Other than that, we pretty much got it all. So, Kyle, we kind of came to the decision. Um, Steve, so a bit of backstory. The reserve we're on, we actually had a pack of wild dogs, but because we've got the snare problem, um, the wild dogs were moved to a better place. No, that was people. That was people. It's the nature conservation students in the tented camp, about 800 meters that way. Um, they having a bit of a chat and a party and whatnot. So, Steve, as soon as we can get as soon as we can make it safe for them, they will be back. Is lekker door, nee? Wat se area is julle lodge? So I just want to update Sally on something. Ngulani Lodge. Ek het nog nooit van hom gehoor nie. Waarom kyk jy dit net? So, Sally, as far as I know, we've got two young males. We've got the big Madonna in charge of the pride and about five females running around on the reserve. Yes, we have leopard, but keep in mind this is KwaZulu Natal. It's not like the Kruger where the leopards hop and everywhere. So we are quite prepared that leopard is going to be a rare sighting indeed. We'll most likely get them most of the time on trail cams. So, Sally, just to give you a bit of an update, Steve, yeah, that's a problem we are always having, eh? So, Sally, just to give you a bit of an update, the format of the show has also changed quite a bit. So, it's going to be more based on wildlife monitoring. So, we'll be going out on safari with a telemetry device. So, we'll be able to follow up on the collared animals, and we will most probably, and on some days, go out with a specific mission to say, okay, we haven't seen that lioness for a while, so we're going to do a wellness check and see how she's doing. And then we are going to be streaming the live safaris 5 days a week. So morning drive, evening drive, and then on Saturdays we will be from 8 o'clock South African time until 11 o'clock South African time. We'll have a 3 hour safari aimed at the little ones. So that will be a kiddies drive, a kiddies safari, to put things down on their level and teach the next generation a bit. Steve, you're never going to get rid of all the snares, my man. Yes, Steve, we are. I actually worked hard on that this morning until I started putting all this stuff together and had to become an electrical engineer for the afternoon and then become an IT engineer. And then I just read a whole lot of reviews and feedback from other people. And I realized, Grey Rambler, I'll make you a deal 50,000 before the end of the month. Then I'll do that as well. But otherwise, um, Sally, so the setup of the program is going to be as follows. Once we reach the threshold on the live safaris, the live broadcasts are going to be subscriber only. So we are going to take subscriptions on the YouTube platform. And the idea is that of the money that comes in from the safaris, we only use what we need to cover the basic costs, the salaries, um, the vehicle, the equipment, and the fuel, and then the rest is going straight back into the reserve to be used for whatever conservation project is necessary at that time. So, Grey Rambler, just out of interest, we're streaming live on YouTube as well. Um, so, at the moment, Sally, the next project we are running is we are starting a crowdfunding platform on a site called Backer Buddy. And the idea there is we would like to purchase an electric vehicle. We have one in mind at a very good price. And that would actually make so that more of the subscription fees can go towards conservation because we'll have to pay a lot less for fuel. So I'm actually very surprised. Ethan van Merwe, Spirit of Dietlow. Same logo, same name. So, Sally, very interesting. We've actually got a specific wildlife monitoring team on the reserve working, which will be getting regular updates from, and we'll do campfire talks with them to get updates on what's going on. We'll also have regular campfire lives with the reserve management and the anti-poaching and so on, so people can have their questions in that regard answered. And then, as you can hear, we've got some conservation students from the UK who are currently busy with their thesis studies on the reserve, and generally all that information gets passed on to us, which we will then share with you guys while we're on safari. Great, awesome. Yeah, so the most important thing we need on the YouTube platform at the moment, guys, is to get that up and running, is watch time. Um, we are about 2,000 watch hours short last time I checked of actually of actually activating the subscriber feature. But I am a firm believer that we'll get there in no time. Awesome. Thanks, Sally. That would be fantastic. Um, so yeah, hopefully we'll get to where we're going to do things a bit differently from we're on a mission to prove that a venture like this can do amazing things for conservation. So I can tell you guys, I was a hell of a confused for a moment. It was so funny when I went to restart the YouTube feed after it lost signal. Um, I noticed this weird thing in the tree, and I was wondering what's reflecting in the tree, and then I realized it's my phone. Yeah, I was. Yeah, Tokyo, I really thought I was being creeped by something. Matthias, are you still alive there? Are you still in the chat? No, no, the phone was in front of the tree and reflecting the light. So on the YouTube feed, if I'm not sitting here, then you can't see it's the phone case. You just see the reflection on the corners. So I thought, what lovely eyes are sitting in that tree over there. The Grey Rambler, yes, we do. We've got a self catering lodge, and pretty soon we're going to be having. I think at the same time that we launch the live safaris, we will also be announcing the wild camping. So two camping sites with ablution facilities. Bring your own tent, but no fences. So Botswana style camping in South Africa. Well, going to the toilet is not a bad idea. The problem is when you're in the toilet when the lion arrives, it's not the most comfortable place to sleep for the rest of the night. And I used to tell my guests on when I was overlanding, if you get in um, if you go to the Okavango Delta, we were wild camping to the point where we had a spade and a toilet roll in the one corner of the camp. And people always asked, well, what happens if you unzip the tent and there's a lion standing in the middle of the camp? And the answer is very simple. Trust me, you won't need the toilet anymore. You'll find the ability to hold it. The Grey Rambler Sabi Sands is not camping, that's glamping, China. Okay, guys, so we're just putting it out there. We are streaming on YouTube as well. Ek, ek volg dit maar, ek weet nie met ek sê Bessie of Liana nie. Hey, Barry, how you doing? So, Sally, we've got both. We were actually listening to the hyenas calling last night. Barry, so I'm gonna send you a photo of my filming device for the vehicle. I think you're gonna be impressed. Um, you're the one that told me to MacGyver. And then, Barry, also an update. We are now streaming simultaneously on TikTok and on YouTube. Yeah, no, it was cool. As we ended was the last call, and I didn't hear them for the rest of the night. Eh? Hey, the Grey Rambler just popped in on YouTube as well. I'm starting to feel like I've got a split personality trying to watch two cameras and three screens at the same time. Yeah, I look like a. I don't exactly know where to look. Barry, same logo, same name, Spirit of the Glow. And if you go back in all the videos, then you'll be able to follow the whole progress of this whole project from when the plan was to start the lodge, and then we realized, but hang on, the ability to start a lodge, there's so many private people that is going to benefit from it, and the money is never going to go to conservation, which is one of the other problems with tourism industry. And so we had a. Ach, dankie, Liana. We're trying. We're trying. Well, hopefully, once we start the live safaris, we'll actually have you guys will learn a whole lot more. Barry, I spent the most part of the evening ranting and raving about the TikTok Live Studio being the worst piece of software in the world. Um, and and basically explaining why we think that it might be in everybody's interest to actually do the live streams on the live safari streams on the YouTube platform. And there is another little thing that um, there is also another little thing that adds to that. Well put, Sally. Yeah, Barry. The other thing is we're still going to run it on a subscribers only for the live safaris, and then we'll do shortened versions for the public consumption. But the other big point is that nobody's really talking about is the commission taken by YouTube is also a hell of a lot less than what TikTok is taking on subscriptions. Yeah, Barry. So at the end of the day, it's uh, it's uh, it's a big thing that at the end of the day, all those little contributions with the ads on the videos and things like that will ultimately mean more money for conservation, more money for going where we want it to go. Steve, the difference is about 25%. Plus, Barry, you need to be a IT engineer and you need to have like a gaming strength system to actually run their software. That's exactly the plan, Barry. That's exactly so. The short form content that like the Q and A's and things are going to stay on TikTok. Samuel, eesh, I'll that's a long story, man. 2014, I was on the wrong side of a thing that went boom in Afghanistan, and I had to find a different job. So, being always being interested in nature and science and that side of things, I became a field guide, and then as a field guide, we noticed how much money that from the tourism sector and from the entertainment sector is actually going into people's pocket that they think is going to conservation. So we decided to do something about it. And Sally, just putting it out there, I didn't forget about your request for the more education on trees and flora in general. Um, we decided that we're gonna do quite a bit of that on the live safaris as well. Barry, we can only hope. I mean, then we can funnel the money in the right direction. Um, I'm begging my camera operator for something to drink. Sally, yes and no. It's a difficult thing to work on, because at the end of the day, if you look at the data, you can make good arguments in either direction. However, in some cases, it turns out that if you go look at the stats closer, on smaller reserves, it makes sense to dehorn. On larger reserves, it might not be the best thing in the world. So I'm both for it and against it, depending on the situation. Like for instance, a small reserve like we've got here, it's actually been very successful. But on a place like the Kruger National Park, then it becomes, then you start to wonder, is it maybe not a pointless exercise? So I'll give you an example. What I'm talking about is, I chatted to one of the rangers in the Kruger the other day. Um, Not going to mention his name because this information is technically very sensitive. But there's now been a couple of cases in the Kruger where they find rhinos that have been killed after they've been dehorned. And once they arrest the suspect, then if they catch the poachers, then the guys explain that the rhinos are becoming scarce, and they come into the reserve and they track a rhino for 2 or 3 days. And when they get there, it doesn't have a horn. So their idea is that they just go ahead and kill it, because that means the next time they won't follow the same trail and get to a rhino that's dehorned again. Um, so yeah, it's got its upsides and definitely got its downsides. Larissa, that's part of it, eh? Steve, so the reason why I say you can make good arguments against it, or for it and against it, is you can definitely show that it does have an effect on poaching. But then again, we can also show that it's got about a 20% decrease in birth rates, because males don't have their horns, so they don't set up territories, which means they don't attract females, which means there's less mating going on, which means you've got a reduction in birth rate. Hey, Gino, welcome. So, just to let everybody know, if you're sitting at home and you want to watch on the big screen, we are now live streaming this on YouTube as well. Barry, that's also true. In some cases, that does happen. Um, and I'm just going to make one disagreement there is, um, it's the same argument I had back in the day when I was working as a police reservist. Is, you know, it's not desperate, it's greed. Because I can 100% understand if a guy comes in and he sets a snare or something, he catches an impala, he takes it home, and he feeds his family, that he was saying he was desperate for food. But when you enter the rhino trade, that's all about the money. So, Larissa, are you in? I assume you are in France. Tuki, I've never seen a kudu cow with horns. I've heard about it, and I've read the studies, and it's apparently it's like one in every 5,000. Um, but on the other hand, I have had the pleasure of working in the southern section of the Kruger National Park, and there we had quite a few female impalas that grew horns. Um, no, Barry, that I've never been so lucky. Yeah? Oh, thanks, Jamie. It's going to be gone one of these days if everything goes according to plan. Not that I'm thrilled about it, but yeah. Um, here's the thing, guys. Currently, we are on a drive to attract some sponsorships and whatnot. So we need the followers. So I made the the commitment that if before the end of the month we get to 10,000 followers, I will let go of the beard of wisdom. Matthias, are you with us? Have you been following my crazy rambles? Yeah, baby, that's actually a thing that's quite common in nature. The hermaphrodite thing. Um, I've actually seen that in a couple of species. And then very interesting is in East Africa you've got the phenomena of maneless males and maned females. Yo, Jeffrey, I changed my name if I was you, bro. Um, I don't think so. Medically, it doesn't seem possible. Eesh, sorry, I joked about it then. So, guys, very interesting is I got some information today, though, about the Madikwe situation and some good news and some bad news. So, thanks, Jeffrey. Um, so, we are apparently there is an organization who really wishes to remain anonymous, who is working very hard behind the scenes to have at least 500 of the Madikwe elephants relocated to Angola, um, which would be a fantastic thing. And then the park has finally come out and say that I don't know. I've never been to the US. Um, yeah, Steve, it will be a fantastic thing if that can happen. But at the end of the day, they'll still have to probably cull about 500 elephants because they're about actually more than that because they should have about 300. Their management plan says 250, and they're on over. Um, Matthias, if you are in the chat, if you can, oh, hang on, I'll I'll do that quick. Goodbye, Benji. Ezra, no, there's no lions around at the moment. Um, there's definitely something moving up the road because I can hear the anti-poaching dogs, the ones that are not on patrol, going nuts, and that normally happens when something walks past their kennel. So I think Matthias is on the TikTok stream, Sally. Matthias, Sally says, how's it? She's on the YouTube feed. Yeah, Gina, it's a myth. And actually, the lion bone trade is a strange thing because even the Asian people who believe in it admit that lion bones is a weak replacement for tiger bones because it's actually tiger bone tea or tiger bone wine that they make. Um, and because tigers are in more trouble than lions, they have now switched over to. Oh, thank you. Well, there's a whole lot of beliefs that go with it, including that you'll get strength if you. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't want this met ice, bro. I want this with. This must be steamy. Hi, Marshall. Good in here. Right, guys. So, yeah, if there's any questions, and I need to get in the habit of repeating the questions because I've got two platforms and not everybody can see the comments on both screens. So, Gary, it's actually not that bad. I mean, I'm sitting around with a short sleeve shirt. Hello, what part of a conservation chat do you not understand? Barry, is that a new one or is that the one a while ago that was taken out by the hippo? Not a problem, Zelly. Enjoy. Do they know what took him out? Ezra, at this point, you can follow us on TikTok and YouTube. And once we start the live safaris, you can subscribe to those. That would be fantastic. All the funds raised, but after our cost of presenting the safaris are covered, is going straight to conservation. So, Barry, it's actually strange that it made the news, eh? Because I remember a while ago, I was chatting to one of the anti-poaching teams, and they were saying they've only had unsuccessful chases the last week. And I said to them, "What do you mean?" And they say, "No, they arrested 5 guys." According to them, if they catch the suspect and arrest him, it's an unsuccessful follow-up. So I'll leave it to your imagination. What is a successful follow-up? So, guys, once again, this stream is going out on YouTube as well. So, if anybody wants to watch on their big screen, on their television, rather, um, yeah. The YouTube picture looks a bit different because there we can use the beta camera. Oh, the guy, I don't know, the guy following on YouTube, did you guys see the bat? They just came diving through here. Probably one of those hairy slit face bats that stay there under they hang there under my roof. Steve, if the right people catch you, then you ain't going home. Let's put it that way. Um, but in South Africa, I can honestly tell you, it depends on where you tried. The guys that are tried in the Skakuza court, they get sentenced quite heavily. If they get tried outside of the Skakuza court, they tend to get away with a slap on the wrist. Have I been where? Addis Ababa. I've only been there for like 8 hours on a connecting flight. Yeah, Barry, that's the problem. It's it's like you fighting a never-ending battle. Where am I? South Africa, my friend. South Africa. Zululand, South Africa. That user is that our Canadian friend, our friend from Canada, joining the chat. Theopolis Ngu. Theopolis. That's such a cool name. It sounds so cool to say. Oh, there, camera around the common spots they enter. We are looking to put up a system like that to make the viewing experience better, but at this point in time, it's not always possible because of connectivity issues. Is boar meat edible? Yes, definitely. Boar meat, warthog, bush pig, they're all edible. No, it doesn't taste like bacon. Bacon doesn't taste like bacon if it ain't smoked. So, just a reminder for the new viewers, we are now streaming on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. So, if you want to watch on the big screen for a better quality picture, YouTube, Spirit of Ditlo, same logo, same name. Steve, have you also picked up the same thing? YouTube has got a bit more of a delay than TikTok does. Got edits. How you doing, bud? Yeah, I think it's going to be much easier if we're only streaming the safaris on one platform. Um, but obviously, the YouTube it travels through a couple of more servers, and Ezra, that's a good suggestion. We are using technology like that as well. Even IR cameras, we've got AI programs that can identify is it a human, an animal, and what animal species it is. Don't worry, Barry. I'm starting to get that feeling. Ek begin voel soos 'n meerkat toe. No, I wish it was Wimbledon. Um, but yeah, guys. So now that he's gone, I can make the joke. Josie 178 has been blocked for legal reasons. Sure, go ahead. Um, yeah, TikToky, just go read his comment and you'll see why I blocked him for legal reasons. Um, trying to keep myself out of trouble here. So, guys, that also means that when we start the live from the watering holes again, the sunsets from the watering hole, they will probably go to YouTube. Steve, no, this area is not suitable for meerkat. Meerkats are an arid area animal. That's the one thing Lion King got right when they had Timon and Pumbaa in a very arid area. Other than that, the Lion King got a whole lot wrong. Barry, we caught some on the trail cams. I haven't seen one myself yet, but I did. I know I missed it by a couple of minutes. Um, at the other night, the horses went into that quiet little. They just crawled into the couch and did the growling thing, and that was about 2 o'clock in the morning. You got over. How you doing, bud? Gino, it's actually closer to a what do you call it? Measurement. Um, mongoose. It's closer related to mongoose than to cats. Um, but so the horses did a little growl at the window thing, and I did go out to check and didn't see anything. And the next morning, I found the tracks all around the house. So they definitely do patrol here. Linda Kutle, welcome. Thanks for your help this afternoon with your comments. Barry, we've got a breeding herd of about 15 individuals, and then we've got about four roaming bulls. And we have a population control via birth control project in place. Hi, Mary Brown. Mary, this is a conservation show from an wildlife based channel, and we are based in South Africa. Mary, if you've got a question about conservation or so on, you're welcome to ask it here in the chat. But I've got a feeling it's not going to be about conservation, is it? Barry, yeah, um, I would be so lucky. Um, I would probably get the bull to pay the inheritance. That's how I feel about my luck these days. Ons gesels vir jou en jy. Ja, Barry, I'm sure, bro. I think Matthias is very quiet tonight because I think he's kind of paced. If I calculated it correctly, he spent about 10 hours on a train today. No, Jolly. So we've got a. So just I see a lot of the names that I've seen before is back in the chat. So I'm just letting everybody know again. We are now streaming on YouTube as well. Um, Channel is the same name, same logo. I'm really starting to wonder whether these boards you put on the conversation actually means anything at all. Don't worry. Kev is area. Well, Steve, it's either the fact that they're too lazy to read or the fact that they can't read. Either one of the two. Were you done long time ago? There is no place for politics on this platform. Barry, I don't like it, though. Not at all. Um, so I just want to repeat so that people on YouTube can follow as well. So Barry asked, what's my opinion about bringing in exotic species from other countries? And it's primarily probably for the hunting trade. Now, I think we've got enough species to hunt. And I also, the problem with that is there's no way you can make sure that you contain those species. So, and the moment you get an alien invasive species, then you've got a whole new set of headaches. Between 2 and 400 liters a day, Steve. Ryan, nie een van die twee nie. Wayne in Zululand, on a game reserve in Zululand. Okay, Barry, forgive me for misunderstanding because there are a couple of guys that offer like European ball and things like that. But in general, I don't like the idea. I mean, if you just go look at Ryan, I'll actually call it a wildlife and conservation educator. Um, so if you just go and look at, I mean, it's not a local example, but go look at the Florida Everglades with the Burmese pythons that people kept as pets and they released. Op 'n wildreservaat, Ryan. I'm not sure about the bringing in a invasive species that created a problem. I do know a very cool story about the dung beetles that they tried to take to Australia. That turned out to be a classic disaster. Steve, that's part of the problem. You figure it out. There's not enough water for all of them. Right near, there's a wildreservaat near jachtplaas. So that's one of my favorite conservation oopsie stories is that they had because of the fly problem in Australia, they realized that they needed to get something to take care of the dung, and an idea was to import dung beetles from Africa. Um, Good idea. Only one problem is the dung beetles were shipped over in containers with a lot of elephant dung because they need the dung to live. Um, and So when it got to the Australian customs, they decided that the beetles have to be quarantined and they have to remove the elephant dung because they can't allow it into the country. And needless to say, 1,000 plus dung beetles dead before they could release them. Luke, how are you doing? Luke, got vraag, ons zit nie. No, it's not that cold, yeah. Kangaroos are marsupials. Yeah, Tuktuki, there's and I know in somewhere in New Mexico, there's a guy that runs actually a game lodge, almost like on a tourist basis where people can go on game drives and whatnot. And he's actually got all five of the big five. Only problem is his leopards have to be kept in captivity because the fence that's going to keep a leopard in is not been made yet. Gary, actually, leopards are more active at dusk and dawn. They are what we call crepuscular, not nocturnal or diurnal. Diurnal being day animals, nocturnal being night animals. Crepuscular is active at dusk and dawn. And it's actually quite interesting why they are active at dusk and dawn. Most of your herbivores or prey species, um, just like us, their eyes work similar to ours. And if you take a close look at humans, you'll find that it takes about 15 seconds for our eyes to adjust to a change of light. So at dusk and dawn, when the light is constantly changing, we are effectively blind. And same with many of the antelope, and then the leopard with its superior vision has got the advantage. That all depends on prey, Giuseppe. That all depends on prey density. It could be anything from 3 square kilometers to 200 square kilometers. Actually, I'm more worried about male lions at night than females. By chance, I live in the bush, so yeah, that's true, Barry. That's a good that's a very interesting tip. But it's just like there are more tigers in captivity in the state of Texas than there are in the wild. That's a scary one. Hey, Billy Bob, let's feed my tiger a steak. Giuseppe, I started guiding full time. I did my first qualification in 2010, but I started guiding full time 2000, end of 2014. Wayne, there are plenty animals that are still pure wild. In fact, a massive part of the Kruger National Park is pure wild. Do you guys hear that? William left.
Mm.
Does anybody pick up on that noise in the background besides the dog barking? The other one. Most dangerous bird in Africa, most probably an ostrich. Ostriches are dangerous. Steve, that's the lion's roaring, huh? Yeah, I saw that in the Kruger Park one day. It was one of the best sightings ever. So what happened was, no, Steve, they quite a way off. Um, I do you know it's a trick question because it's actually both. It's the only bird that's got red meat. Yogi, elephants. Dangerous between the cats. Most probably a Bengal tiger. Yeah, African wildcat that's not crossbred. Yeah, there's still some of them in the Kruger. There's some in Kalahari. I'm sure if we look around here, we'll find one or two of them on the trail cams. Yeah, Giuseppe, it is classified as game, but That's kind of what happens when you don't know what to make to call it poultry or red meat, and then you just chuck it into the venison category. Nicholas Day, with all due respect, sir, I'm not going to get into that topic because that's politics, and we don't discuss politics on this platform. The Toki definitely, because we have caught one on a tail cam about, geez, about a month ago. Giuseppe, on every game reserve in South Africa, we got issues with poachers. It's just something you can't get away from. Now, a roy cut is a caracal. Scientific classification caracal. Um, yeah, it's not a good idea to keep a caracal as a pet, but yeah, they do. Giuseppe, that's a very difficult question to answer. So, what we do for countermeasures as poaching, there's books written about that subject. To answer that in a short form question is really difficult, but the most important thing you've got is boots on the ground and patrols. Myth, yeah, that is a privilege. Although, depending on the situation, I might just skip that privilege. Giuseppe, you'll have to look for anti-poaching groups, companies that present training courses, and go from there. Nicholas Day, once again, beef. It's got the most fat. I love the white part of a cow. No, it's not very cold here. Giuseppe, nothing beats a good old rump steak, my man. Zara, it's quite common, and sustainable harvesting is a good way to promote conservation. So it's quite common. There he goes again. The real Nicholas, because I can. Oh, we got white and black rhinos around. Yeah, very. I'm. hmm, My favorite antelope is probably blue duiker. It's the most interesting antelope. Blue duiker, steenbok, um, all the micro antelope are very, very interesting animals. Steve, before, and I'm going to reply with the same answer now here because springboks are an arid area animal, and this is not an arid. Zara, I don't think he was talking about your question about the consumption of wild meat. I think he was talking about the conversation that went to the best cut of beef. Steve, I don't know about other places in Joburg, but I know there's a couple of springboks at the Mint, as an because they're the national symbol. But I don't know anywhere else. So platinum Rhino Group. What do you mean technically? Nice one, TikTok. Shops. Oh, beautiful, man. JH. Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, I lived on one of his farms for a while. I like old Uncle you. He's a good guy. His heart was in the right place with the rhino thing. And his brain as well. Unfortunately, the rest of the world couldn't see it that way. The only problem with John Hume and his conservation work is he calls a spade too clearly. So, especially when he gets into debates around the hunting industry and whatnot, he makes valid points, but the way he makes it just irritates people. That's unfortunately a problem with. Cameras with the key and zoom. Ek wil net kyk hoe ver is die delay. So I'm just doing an experiment here quickly. I'm just zooming in on the YouTube camera. I just want to see what the time difference is in the delay here. Steve, it's all still under negotiation, so we don't know yet.
Ah,
Wel, ek kan nog nie sien nie. So. Cheers, Barry. Have a good one. Steve, how long is the delay on the YouTube feed, man? Jeez, like it seems like it's forever. No, Steve, the rest of the numbers are pretty good. It's just the fact that there's too many elephants have definitely got an impact on the rest of the species as well. You know, it's one of those situations that actually teaches you a lot about how fine a line conservation is. Because it's no point you work so hard to protect your rhinos, and then at the end of the day, you don't watch the elephant population, and now the rhinos are starving. Tiktoki, yes, like I said, I've heard of it. I've heard of it in quite a few times in various different species, including baboons. Do you know no meat get wasted? So especially if we cull elephants, they will go to the local community. Yeah, myth. It's a very thin line, especially especially if the ecosystem is elephant doesn't taste that much different from beef. Think about gamey beef. Well, that's my experience in any case. Yeah, I think it's going to be much better once we pick a platform and stick to it. NCL, you can see tuskers now. There's some tuskers in East Africa. There's a couple of tuskers in the Kruger. There's definitely a few tuskers in Tembe Elephant Park. Cheers, Myth. Have a good evening, bud. Yeah, I think for me it's slightly exaggerated because I'm broadcasting YouTube from um, the tablet over there and watching on and following on the iPad in front of me. So there's like a big loop. Yeah, I think it's all just the buffering system. But if we're on one platform, it will be much easier to. I don't know so much about that, Ezra. There's a lot of variables to take into account. User 1233. Follow my finger. Read that little sign. Hey, hey, hey! I'm getting treated. Yeah. Check this boy. Check this big boy out. How's that for a snack? Yes, Jay. I'm sitting in the bush. Well, what's happening in the YouTube chat? Nee, nee, dis 'n vieslike plantjie. Dis 'n stuk lantana wat daar staan. Yep, Coop, it's Bolton. Most dangerous in the Big Five? Hands down the Buffalo. Without even thinking, it's the Buffalo. Because they're unpredictable. No, elephants are actually quite relaxed. Most cases where elephants hurt people, it's the people's fault. People do stupid things. Elephants are naturally not aggressive. No, Gino, they're not. Not for us in any case. In most cases, a cheetah will actually run away from you. Black mambas will generally move away from humans. They only get aggressive when you try and catch them and when you corner them. Hey, Mr. Canada, how you doing? Something else to make you miss home. Steve, you got no idea how much I'm waiting for. That is going to be so much fun. I get to go out twice a day. And then a lot of the stuff we talk about here that's very difficult to explain, we can actually show people. Craziest I've seen spider eating a frog. It's not exactly the normal case of standard things. Normally it would be the other way around. Yeah, it was a fair sized baboon. How's it going, bro? How you doing? But no, I'm not camping. I live in the bush. Like a man, Coin bro. Have a good night. Well, it would definitely be an old world spider, a hunting spider. So remember, you got two types of spiders. You got old world spiders and new world spiders. So old world spiders are classic. It's called old world spiders because they don't have the ability to spin a web, or they don't spin a web. They hunt down their prey. They got big fangs. They catch their prey and they eat them. Where new world spiders are the ones that make webs to catch their prey. Black widows are very dangerous, but easy to avoid. Well, honey badgers has got quite a few adaptations that make them so dangerous. No, both old and new world can do that. Um, so, first of all, they got a natural immunity to snake bites. Then, second of all, their skin is very loose to the point where if you grab a honey badger by his neck, he can actually turn in his skin and still reach behind him to bite you. And they've got a very thick skin or a very tough skin. And then let's not throw away those claws. Have you seen those claws? Yeah, I was bitten by a violin spider when I was a kid. Um, the toki, yeah, and other snake they can survive bites from other snakes as well. No, they don't particularly have stronger bones. Joker for awareness. Awareness of what, Joker? Nope, hyenas have got the worst smell. Sinkholes, because they do thanatosis, meaning that if you corner them, they actually play dead. And they do it so well that they've actually got blood coming out of their nose or their mouth. And then when you pick up what you think is a dead snake, they bite. No, I'm not afraid of snakes. Favorite wild game meat? Springbok. No, it doesn't. I don't have to. It's not very cold. Oh, leopard cubs are awesome. Yes, they are. Um, top of which is the Komodo dragon. Oh, there's quite a few tuskers up north. How's it, Mike? Seth Burns, yes, I like fishing. But none of the species fishing crap. Proper fishing. Mike, just let me know who that special guest is so I can be nice to them. The most memorable sighting. If you go into our profile, the video feed, close to the top, there's a video of hyenas hunting a warthog. I'd say that's right up there. What's not proper fishing? Fly fishing and species fishing. So, Mike, who's this mystery guest that I'm getting nervous about? Mike, what a joke, bro. Hey, look, nobody ever said nature was a Disney movie, yeah? No, Steve, I don't. I've said that a couple of times already. Yeah, no, I know it's another cheese, Steve, but I mean, I have said that a couple of times already, Steve. Um, Thoughts on trophy hunting in general? If done correctly, it's a marvelous conservation tool. Yeah, so what if it's quarter to 10? Well, that's not going to change anything. Oh boy, here we go. Miss Malotto, no, that's not a general practice. In conservation, we only burn once every 5 years or so. Too much burning can cause encroachment of certain species and it destabilizes the ecosystem. Cheers, sleep well. Gary, yes, male elephants are generally solitary from about 15 to 20 years old. So what causes pollution? No, it doesn't, because fire is a natural part of the ecosystem, especially in Africa. You've got all that collection of moribund, we call it moribund, the dead leaves and things like that. And the way that it's removed is by fire. Even if there were no humans around, there would still be fire. How's it Mars? The Mars, generally, Kruger, the best time to go is in the winter. June, July, August. It's hella cold, but it's good viewing. No, I'm not. Ika, we're located in Zululand. So, guys, just a reminder, um, due to the fact that this is a conservation based platform and All the funds we raised are Jaco, nou wat anders sal dit wees? Ek drink nie, ou maat. Ramein, yes I have. Pretty good meat. So just a reminder that we are slowly transitioning the live broadcasts over to the YouTube channel. In fact, we're broadcasting simultaneously on TikTok and YouTube at the moment, and most probably with the live safaris when that kicks off, that will be on the YouTube platform um, for various reasons. Hi Tay, how you doing? So Larissa Mayer, unfortunately, no, they are not. Um, and one of the reasons for that is that kids don't get exposed to wildlife like they used to, and that's what we're hoping to change with some of our um, live safaris and so on. I'm good, Tay. Yes, Tay, but there could be so many more. Locals Cav. So we are a private organisation that work in conjunction with the Big Five Reserve in Zululand. The plan is to build the platform, present live safaris on a subscriber base, 5 days a week, twice a day, and all the proceeds going to conservation. Or most of the proceeds. Obviously, we've got some costs to present to all the safaris. So yeah, I see Tay and a lot of other people that normally come as joined. So I'm just letting everybody know the YouTube channel is now active. And we are actually broadcasting simultaneously on TikTok and YouTube tonight. And we are going to be slowly transitioning all the live broadcasts over to the YouTube platform. Local Save, I didn't say because it's still a bit of a secret. We've got some T's to cross and I's to dot, and we'll probably make the announcement on the 1st. Awesome day. So it's the same. It's the same logo, same name, and there's quite a bit of content there from the past. You can remember I told the story yesterday about how the project started with us eventually wanting to start a lodge and whatnot, so you can get all that info and see how it evolved to where we are now. Well, at the moment, the podcast is most of the time just me and Matthias chatting about various topics and stories and things like that. But once we got the live safaris going, then it's going to be primarily about this reserve. So we'll get the reserve manager from time to time to give us an update. We'll get the monitoring team. We'll speak to some of the anti-poaching guys. Um, Probably one or two of the vets. Larissa, that was one of the things that I wanted to become when I was a kid. Gary, actually, I go live most nights, most evenings from about 7:30. But we are slowly transitioning it over to YouTube. How's it, Rudy? So, guys, just a quick explainer. I did go through it a bit earlier with the rest of the audience, but just to bring you guys up to speed as well. So one of the big moves, reasons for us wanting to push towards the YouTube platform is once we hit the requirements and we can do the live safaris on a subscriber base in on YouTube, we can then post that live safari as a subscribers only video, which means that people won't miss a safari. If you are working early in the morning and you can't watch, you can always catch up the morning safari a bit later. Hey, user guiding out of Klasiri. Awesome, man. How you doing? The YouTube channel has got the same name as this one, Spirit of the Clone. Same logo, everything. And then also the biggest thing is remember most of our proceeds is going to conservation, and YouTube takes a whole same logo. Yes, um, YouTube takes a whole lot less of the fees as commission, so it's makes it more viable on. Oh, awesome! They are so cute. Start their life by falling 2 meters. I always feel sorry for them when they're born. Amberley's my favorite safari spot would be my favorite place to visit would be Etosha, and my favorite animals is elephants. Talent, be there, conservation. Okay, guys. So this is an interesting thing this evening. So we are running out of battery on the phone. So where other nights this time I would call it. Um, Tonight we're going to carry on a bit. I am going to be ending the TikTok live shortly, simply because we're running out of battery power. But the TikTok stream is still going. And for those that still have questions and still want to continue to chat, I'll be there for a favorite owl and why. Spotted eagle owl. Um, well, it's a toss up between the spotted eagle owl and the barn owl. The spotted eagle owl, because most of the time when you see them, if you're patient, you can watch them hunt. And the barn owl, because of that cool noise that makes you want to crap in your pants. Probably. I don't know so much about that one. Okay, guys. So yeah, TikTok is going to be cutting off shortly, and then we'll carry on the YouTube feed. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it, man. So we'll see you guys on the other side. Have a marvelous evening. Bernard Kaiser in Zululand. Right. Let's see what's happening here. So, guys, if there's not a lot of eye contact with the camera, um, just keep in mind I've got a tablet on that side controlling the broadcast, and I'm reading the comments on the iPad on this side. So if I look down a lot, I'm just trying to keep up with the conversation. Reggie, Botswana camping is cool. Yeah, thanks, Foxy. We're gonna try and Simon. We're gonna try and transition only over to YouTube slowly. There's a couple of benefits to the YouTube thing, so we are slowly pushing it. So we're still going to keep the TikTok going strong, and we're still going to do the TikTok Q&A sessions. But I think most of the longer form content will move over to the YouTube platform. Awesome, Reggie. Awesome. Okay, Carl. Yes, we generally do. Um, I have a bit of a technical issue with mine at the moment. So for now, this is the audio from the camera. But within the next couple of days, we'll be back on the super sensitive wireless mic thing. See, I told you it's the same dude in the beginning, and then everybody was like, no, no. But I think this is, as far as streaming goes and quality of broadcast, I think the YouTube platform just wins on technicalities and furthermore on the fact that, like I said, the once we start going with the live safaris and we do the subscription thing, the the big thing for me is I don't want a subscriber to miss a single safari. So awesome, Gary. Yeah, so we're gonna keep pushing this platform because there's a couple of bonuses. So in firstly is we want to make the live safaris affordable for everybody. I will do that. I will do that, Toki. Um, so yeah, first of all, we want to make it more affordable for people to watch the live safaris. SA86, what do you want to know? Um, we we want to make it more affordable for everybody. So on TikTok, we can actually charge a marginally smaller subscription fee, and we can also the benefit is that the TikTok, the YouTube um, subscriber commission is way less than TikTok. So at the end of the day, it's going to benefit the program more because we'll be able to put more money into conservation. Okay, SA86. So this is a conservation platform. We are in the process of starting up some live safaris. And all of that will be done on a subscriber base in order to raise funds for conservation. Ethan, yes, to a certain extent, I agree with you. But to another extent, I don't think it would be a problem because I think people will see the benefit, especially if we cross promote. That um, it's much easier on YouTube to put it on the television and a whole family can sit and watch a safari together instead of huddling on a phone screen trying to see what's going on. Hey, okay, you must love that very much. SA88, anything to do with conservation, whatever our home reserve needs, whether it will be assistance with anti-poaching, whether it will be assistance with vegetables, whether it be assistance with diesel to get the job done, whether it will be whatever the reserve needs to get the right job done at that time. Well, Ethan, put it this way: once we get going, we basically have about 10 months to get it to a point where we are up and running and self sufficient before we have to start getting panicky. So I think that gives us quite a bit of time if we produce quality content to actually get going. Well, dis presies waar ek is, 86. The only downside is I'll have to tone down the Afrikaans a bit on YouTube because it's obviously more international viewers. Um, Really, staying living in a game reserve, it's not that I get chance to visit other parks very often. And also, once this project kicks off, I'll be working 6 days a week for the foreseeable future until the project grows enough so we can get another team. Um, so I don't think I'll be visiting any other reserves very, very soon. Yeah, but Ethan, it was about 3 times as long as what you're allowed to type on TikTok, so that's a bonus. Well, 86, there's many ways to go about it. You can study nature conservation, you can study game range management, or you can go into the hospitality side of things, lodge manager, and things like that. Or you can just become a field guide. That was my path in, and now I'm basically a wildlife educator. No, Foxy, we are planning on pretty soon in the next couple of days. We'll be doing sunsets from a stationary spot, but with everything on the vehicle. So yeah, we are putting we need to work out the kinks, eh? Gary, I would say my top animal that I'm in, that I love learning about and following is, well, to observe is elephants, but to follow their social lives is lions. And when it's not animals, then my other big interest is geology. And then yes, guys, just to reiterate what I said at the start of the live, we are also going to be starting that Backer Buddy soon. Um, I worked on it this morning. We'll probably work on it. It should be considering I'm not an IT expert and these things take me some time to figure out. It should be up by Monday, and oh, that's cool, man. So that should be up by Monday, and then but we're still planning on building both platforms. It's just that TikTok is going to be the short form content and the like live Q and A's and things like that. But the actual Safari side will be more on, and the podcasts and stuff will be more on the YouTube platform. Steve, I pretty much had an idea who I was talking to. So if you don't want to go through all that hassles, you don't have to. It's just kind of habit when you see a name pop up to use the name that's in the chat. I'll do my best, I promise. But I do come from a very Alzheimer prone family, so just have to keep that in mind. Ja, maar okkie klink nie so bad nie, Karel. Of verkies jy ook TikTokie? The one thing I will tell you guys that I did notice is with the way that the YouTube algorithm works. Generally, on YouTube, if you get somebody that comes across your page, it's generally people that have an interest, and it's you don't have as much from like on the TikTok thing with guys just coming and making silly comments and making it difficult for everybody. Okie dokie. Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's the big thing. You don't have that. The only thing is, I'll have to try and stick to the English thing because there's a lot more international crossovers on the algorithm. So TikTok is very big on promoting your content only to people in your own country, except for the Americans. They're promoting to everybody. Okay, Stephen. Sorry, man. So completely off the topic, but I'll tell you guys an interesting story. I had a buddy named Steve in the military, and in the South African military, most things happen in Afrikaans, or it used to in any case. And he was as English as they came, and I'm sure Oki knows what I'm talking about when I say when you used to go into the mess hall and you used to take your beret, roll it up, and it goes under your lapel, and then as soon as you cross the door out of the mess hall, it goes back on your head. And Steve forgot his beret the one day, and the corporal screamed at him from like the other side of the base almost, and he said to him, "Steve, sit up your hood." So, in his best Afrikaans, he followed the instructions and he took his beret out, threw it on the floor, and he went and sat on it. Yeah, needless to say, we didn't see him for 2 days. Look, okay, just like you get people who use English for self defense only, you get those Englishmen who only use Afrikaans for self defense. I think we'll just have to look at the way we position things a little bit, because at the moment, this light we've got for the talks at night is brilliant. It does fantastic work, but it's so bright that I've got no idea where the camera is at the moment. I feel like a flock house in front of a Land Rover. Yeah, okay. Well, one of my friends used to say when he has to talk English, he runs out of airtime. So I'm sure you've heard it, but there's a famous story that with the Springbok rugby team on a tour to England, they were invited to Buckingham Palace to have dinner with the royals, including the Queen, and they one of the it was one of the famous centers. I don't know if it was Maniki's room or somebody. Um, what actually happened is that as they were walking the day, he tripped over the root of a tree, a boomwortel, and he had a bit of a limp when they got to the dinner. He was walking a bit funny, and apparently the Queen asked him about it, and he said, "Oh no, Mrs. Queen, I just tripped over the carrot of a tree." Yeah, Steve, that is a bad thing. But interestingly enough, that the same guy who posted that video, um, who I then commented on, there's actually a copyright violation on that video because he claimed copyright on the original video. So, yeah. But it is one of those things where you think, where you look at him and you think, yeah, what were you thinking? But it's actually so common in game reserves these days. I can't tell you when was the last time I actually saw a ranger using a red filter. Most probably, most probably. So, honest opinion, guys, what do you think of our outside studio when we do podcasts and campfire talks and whatnot? It's going to be here in the little boma, and we've got like a fire pit there in the middle. Yeah, I've got a small little watering hole just over my shoulder here. Um, Let me just grab the spotlight and we can show you guys. So right there at the bottom of the screen, you can just see the lip of the watering hole. Let me just see that, and I can. Right there is the lip of the little watering hole. And that way my face reflects a bit too much, but now you can actually see a bit behind me as well. Yeah, exactly. So the idea would be then to have that light a bit more raised, so that we don't, so that I don't look blinding in the sun like I do now. Um, and then the fire in the foreground, and then we'll have the trees in the background. Yeah, I think it's going to work well for all of that stuff. It's it's a nice chill little spot, and I only walk about. I only have to carry everything about 10 meters, and then I'm back home. So it's really not going to be a. But we will make it so that when we've got the talks and we've got guests and whatnot, we'll actually do probably finish the safaris a bit earlier, and then cut off, and then have maybe an hour or so just to set up everything, and then stream that as a separate stream. But I'm really looking forward to using the YouTube platform. We just broadcast in so much better quality. And I think that's what I'm going to do predominantly from now on. Is I'll start off streaming on both platforms, and then I'll carry on the YouTube platform. I'll actually turn the TikTok off much earlier, and that way. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and that hiccup was literally because I was running off cellular signal. So if I use my main data connection, then I'm sure the TikTok thing or the YouTube thing will be much more. It's a much more stable platform in any case than what TikTok is. Um, as much as you want to turn it around, at the end of the day, it's a question of purpose. TikTok was designed for cell phones, and the moment you start bringing in better quality cameras and things like that, it just doesn't know what to do with it. Good luck, Steve, and give him hell, but hope you have a hell of a game. Okay, oh, look, in general, I just do it because it's now just general conversations and whatnot. But generally, on the live safaris, I wouldn't do that. And then when we've got guests or whatever, then it would also not be a thing. So, but yeah, guys, I think I'm also going to call it an evening. And yeah, thanks for the support and thanks for following us over to YouTube. And yeah, but we'll keep on growing on both platforms, and we'll get this thing going. Gary, that's awesome to hear. And once I got my wireless mic setup sorted, then it will be much better. But yeah, guys, have a good evening. And yeah, Steve, all the best for tomorrow. Cheers, guys.